Hello, my name is Tiffany Freeman, and I'm a graduate student at Texas A&M International University and a high school mathematics teacher. Today, I'm going to reflect on Chapter 5 of Breakthrough Principles by Desravines, Aquino, and Fenton, as well as a case study from O'Malley, Long, and King's 2015 article titled, "What Do You Do All Day?" Something people typically don't know about me is that I quite literally grew up in a school office because my mom was the principal secretary at my elementary school. From an early age, I witnessed the daily flow of activity that happens in a school office. From students being sent to the nurse, parents dropping off forgotten lunches, teachers needing support, and administrators constantly being pulled in multiple directions. I guess that's why the environment, or the so-called chaos of a front office, has always felt like home to me. Now, as a teacher working in my own high school alma mater, I often find myself in the front office. Whether it be before school, during my conference period, lunch, or after school, I have a tendency to end up in the office on a mobile desk, simply working amongst the chaos. The joke is that my ADHD, it actually makes me more productive down there, and that's true. Because I'm around all the time, I'm one of the only teachers on campus that knows how to use all of the front office systems, from the visitor check-in system to where to find a verification of enrollment. My admin and the other staff regularly include me in their shenanigans and consider me an unofficial part of their team. I've even been pulled out of class to sub in the front office when there was nobody else capable of running the front computer system when all the team was out sick. The reason I give you this look into my background and current habits is to make the point that I've been granted an inside look from a young age into what makes a school office run. I've come to recognize that what looks like organized chaos is actually a hub of multitasking leadership in action. I've seen firsthand how administrators are pulled into 1,000 directions daily, and how what they plan for their days to look like very rarely gets to actually happen. When other teachers and staff express their frustration over a principal's delayed response or perceived oversight, I'm often the one reminding them that administrators juggle way more balls than we see. And so the occasional one dropping is pretty valid. That's what stood out to me about the O'Malley et al. Case. The fictional principal at Brigadoon High isn't just managing tasks. They're navigating shifting demographics, academic accountability pressures, staff morale, inclusion issues, parent concerns, and even safety and equity. The authors point out that early career principals are particularly vulnerable to burnout due to the simultaneous pressures they face, including ambiguity of role, loneliness, and reactive management demands. From a leadership perspective, this directly connects to the Wallace Foundation's 5 key practices of effective leadership, which are establishing a vision, creating a hospitable climate, improving instruction, managing people, and using data effectively. Breakthrough Principles refines this work into practical systems, which we see as levers and stages throughout the transformational leadership framework, including the 4 talent manager levers outlined in Chapter 5. When you summarize the tasks required of effective principals into these subcategories, it doesn't sound like as much. But when you break down how much really goes into each of those categories, you see exactly how much administrators are responsible for and why their jobs are so important and really do impact everything in the building. The Brigadoon High case shows how weak hiring systems lead to instability. 4 out of 6 math teachers are new. 1 is struggling with behavior management, and morale is declining. This reinforces Desravines et al.'s assertion that strong schools are built through smart hiring. As an aspiring administrator, this tells me that hiring cannot be an afterthought. It must be strategic and mission aligned, even when timing is short. This is directly related to Chapter 5's Lever 1, Recruitment and Onboarding. Lever 2 in talent management focuses on instructional leadership teams. Brigadoon's leadership appears overly centralized. Everything funnels to the principal with little sign of a shared leadership structure. Breakthrough Principles makes clear that developing an instructional leadership team is essential for sustainability and school improvement. This connects with Texas Principal Standard 2, Human Capital, which emphasizes the importance of building the capacity of staff to fulfill leadership roles. In my own building, I've seen what happens when an ILT is ineffective. My current principal came in mid-year following the promotion of a long-standing principal who's known as one of the best in campus history. He inherited his ILT team, but they aren't really the best fit for the initiatives he would like to push, as they don't really support them. Most of the members of the ILT team are department heads, but they became department heads during a transitional year where superintendent leadership was transitioning and a lot of people left, and the department heads became the people that had just been there the longest. They're not necessarily people that are built for leadership roles, and that's become apparent during these ILT meetings, and it needs to be restructured. In line with Lever 3, monitoring and evaluation, the article highlights how the teacher on a growth plan felt unsupported and overwhelmed. Chapter 5 warns us about this exact pitfall. When evaluation becomes compliance-based rather than coaching-focused, it erodes morale. As a future administrator, I see how important it is to create feedback cycles that are consistent, developmental, and tied to growth, not punishment. O'Malley et al. Describes how early career principals often overemphasize technical work rather than instructional leadership. That misalignment can lead to poor staff support and ultimately impact student learning. Lever 4 in talent management is all about professional learning and collaboration. This lever resonates deeply. In the case, SPED teachers expressed frustration over lack of co-planning time. Students are falling through the cracks, especially those from historically marginalized groups. One LGBTQ+ student expressed feelings of being unsafe and ignored, and Hispanic parents were worrying that their children are being blamed for the test score drops. This is where Breakthrough Principles urges leaders to embed culturally responsive, equity-focused professional development into the school's fabric. It's not enough to just respond to fires. We must build a culture where prevention and inclusion practice are the norm. This week's readings reminded me why I feel at home in the front office. It's not just about nostalgia, it's my leadership laboratory, if you will. It's where I've observed how leadership is less about holding authority and more about creating stability and uncertainty. Principals, especially new ones, do much more than people realize. As Desravines et al. Emphasizes, great principals don't just manage talent. They develop it, sustain it, and align it with vision. To be effective, school leaders need systems, but they also need empathy, perspective, and the ability to reflect critically in the moment. The office is where I've started to develop those muscles, and these readings help me connect those informal observations to the formal competencies I'll need as a future administrator. I hope that I don't ever feel like the principal at Brigadoon High and overwhelmed in the midst of chaos, but I know it'll probably happen. Using structures like what we see in Breakthrough Principles and all the different levers can help to manage it to where it doesn't seem so scary, and it's almost like a checklist of what needs to be done and how to accomplish it. But managing the people around you is probably one of the most important things, and building that school culture, especially as a new administrator or continuing a good school culture, is going to be essential. That's one of the ways that I see my current principal struggling, is he stepped into a well-established school culture, And that's something that's hard to maintain. Thank you.